Okay, good morning. My name is Silvana. This is a course on foreign languages acquisition and learning. Um, Sorry about my pronunciation because I am really nervous, but I trust it. Theory analyze report. Um, Student participation in A2 EFL classroom and teacher attitude, interactive strategies, and college engagement. So, here we have selected additional problems. Number two problems. Limited vocabulary retention and recall in virtual English classes. Here we have a good square like key theories of foreign language acquisition. So, what is the idea that identification and comparison of theories? In number one, we have a theory of behaviors, a proponent, B.F. Skinner, and key concept is learning as an habit formation, a stimulus response, and a repetition. And institutional implications are teachers usually use games, guide questions, and imitate feedback to reinforce participation. A monitor model is like a proponents, Steve Kearns, and key content acquisition versus learning, affected input, and natural order hypothesis. And instructional implication, teachers prove clearer non-student explication and creator friendly classes. And the end, social cultural theory, Lev Vygotsky, and social international and learning as a social process. An implication features foster respectful communication and encourage participation. Um, Here we have identification and comparison of theories. According to the observation, the Victor session was well structured and conducted in a respectful and positive environment with A2 level students. The tutor, Clara, began with a clear instruction, use interactive tools such as games and videos and closes the lesson with a summary for motivation and remarks. In the other hand, from a behavior respect BF of Skinner, the teacher used questions and games and simulators and reforms participation throughout positive feedback. And here we have problematization of the education situation. What is the main problem you saw in the virtual session? The main problem observed was uneven students' participation, several learners remaining passive during the session. Yes. Who had this problem? All the students or only some? When did it happen? In this case, I must say that only some students that had this problem because there was a few participation, only few, from two or three students. It occurred mainly during the middle part of the lesson when participation was required. How do you think this problem affected English learning? Why is it important? In my opinion, the problem limits to students opportunities to practice speaking and actively use the language. And it is important because languages learning requires interaction and production, even virtual sessions. What are some possible causes of the problem? Even in my experience, some possible causes include low motivation by the teachers, lack of confidence in speaking English fear of making mistakes, limited vocabulary, and low risk in many reasons, and distractions typical of virtual learning environments. How can I explain these problems using theories? Number one, from behaviors B.F. Skinner, low participation may occur if students have not received enough reinforcement and by the habit of speaking. I'm sorry now, sorry. According to the step monitor model, the user can be explained by a high affected fear of making mistakes. That's the most common. Or low confidence can block language production even if students understand the context. And number three, from Leo Vygotsky, social cultural theory, limited participation may indicate that some students are not fully supported within their zone of proximal development. In conclusion and reflections, why did you learn from this activity? Of many things. First, effective teaching is not only about clear explanation and good materials, but also about encouraging active participation from all the students. Even in a positive, well-managed class, some learners may remain passive, which shows the importance motivation, emotional support, and meaningful interaction. And second, that is like this activity reinforced how theory can practice connected, especially in understanding students' engagement in virtual EFL contests. And here, which theory helped you most understand the problem? Why? I think the STEM Carson monitor model helped me the most to understand the problems because it explains how highly effective filter is caused by an anxiety, fear of making mistakes, or low confidence can block students' participation, even if awareness understand the content, of course. What do you like and not like about the virtual session you observed and why? First, I like the teacher positive attitude. Yes. Clear explanation and the use of interactive tools such as games and videos because they created a supportive and engaging. Attitude is when students don't respond and what I want. Also, the class was well organized, and the tutor showed a strong classroom management skills. That is a good way because we have to be that. Then, what I didn't like was the uneven students' participation. Signs several learners remain passive, but I understand them because I really do. However, I know this limits opportunities for meaningful interaction and shuts down connective, communicative, language and develop. How can this activity help you as a future teacher? There is a very interesting question for me because I am a middle teacher, something like that. This activity helps me understand that the teaching goes beyond explaining content. And it requires observing student behavior and, and identifying learning barriers and making informed decisions based on theory. As a future teacher with my degree complement, it prepares me to design more inclusive strategies that encourage active engagement, reduce and creating meaningful opportunities for all the students to use English confidently. If you could change something in the session, what would you change? How would the pairing help you do that? If I could change something, I will strengthen strategies to ensure more balanced participation. That is important, especially during the middle stage of the lesson. I think that they have a main experience about in a virtual session, so I know that is possible. And here, I think that behaviors theory can help me because I would uphold more concept positive. Recommending to build the habit of participation. I will incorporate more scaffolding and collaboratory tasks within the zone of proximal development to support less confident learners. So these my references here. Thank you so much. And we have education problem limit vocabulary retention and recall and virtual English. What innovator English learning activity would you propose to address the problem? To address limited vocabulary retention in virtual English classes, specific in virtual English classes, I will propose a Gunfield vocabulary quest. In this activity, students participating in will them changes where they must use new vocabulary in short speaking tasks such as storytelling, role plays, or mind debates. Students earn points for correctly using the words in contest. And what digital tools or resource will you use in this activity? I will use digital tools as interactive quiz platforms, Canvas presentation, of course, of the flashcard application. For example, students could participate vocabulary only quizzes, online quizzes, create a visual word maps, and record short audio responses in the Carol. Also, I will use shared documents for the collaborative strolling with the essential information and for small group discussions. This tool support multimodal learning and allow students of a activity interact with vocabulary in different ways. How will you assess the impact of this activity of language learning? I will assess the impact through formative and summative evaluation strategies. First, I will compare students' vocabulary used before and after the activity using short oral tasks. And second way, I will analyze participation and accuracy during the changes. Also, I will include self-assessments and where students reflect how many new words they can remember and use. Finally, a short quiz at the end of the each week will measure retention. There's strategies will provide evidence for improved vocabulary recall on many language use. Thank you so much. Good night.